Hi, everybody. I'm Lolly Lewis. I'm the founder of Amateur Music Network, and I'm here with Cary Sheldon, who's going to be leading our song circle that starts March 1st. And Cary, it's so great to be together with you. I see you sitting right there in your living room, and you're so generous to invite us all in. I know we can't all actually come in your living room, but there'll be a few people there, right, singing together. So we'll be able to hear kind of a ensemble sound or a group sound.
Exactly. And thank you, Lolly. I'm glad to be here. I've been thinking about doing a song circle for the last 20 years.
Wow.
I've been doing song circles with my family regularly for years and years, and making songbooks and learning songs and loving the community vibe. Love singing with other people, always have. Always felt more fulfilled singing with others in harmony or in community than it's just brought me more joy than even being a solo performer, which I did for many years. And I had a lot of fun, but there's something magical about singing in community with other people for me.
Isn't there? I totally agree.
Yeah.
We really, I think we forget or we minimize, or maybe we just don't give enough credence to how important it is to have not only that music in our lives, but that music as a connection to other people. It's really, to me, it's fundamental to our humanity. And I know I am a little bit of an evangelist for music, but I really think it's not only super important, it's just the most fun you can have.
I completely agree. And I don't think you can be over emotional about this. I think it's so powerful, not only in bringing people together and in a space of mutual intention. There's also the incredible, it's really not something you can put into words, I don't think. I really don't think you can talk about music exactly. You can try to describe it and you can try to pin it down, but you really can't. And there is something that happens not only as we raise our voices together, but there is also something that happens literally in our bodies that transcends possibly our problems for the moment and brings us together. And also it's a way of communicating and being with our ancestors, people in the past, people who, singing songs from the past. We step into a little bit anyway, into the lives of these people who wrote these songs and who've affected all of music in the present.
All of our past mentors and those who contributed to our musical emotional library. I love the notion of the ancestors and the tradition and what is handed down. It's an oral tradition of singing. So
storytelling, yeah.
It changes with each person who sings, and every interpretation is different. I noticed that you chose very specific versions of the songs that you want to do because those are resonant for you, right?
Yes. There are also some versions of the songs that I chose are more accessible. So I listen to a lot of versions of these songs as I'm going through them, and I think about those things. I think about the history. I think about the key. Of course, I could change the keys in the future of songs, but it's nice to have one in the key that we're going to do it in.
I know that all of these songs are emotionally important for you, but I wonder sort of what calls out to you that it makes you want to do a particular song.
So a lot of these writers and performers are people that were very, very influential in my childhood. Joan Baez, Pete Seeger. Lead Belly, I wasn't as aware of in terms of his name, but the music, I was very familiar with a lot of his songs. When I was really little, I had a little pink portable record player, and I had a bunch of singles. Remember those? And I probably was 2.5, 3, 4 years old, and I know you have some, and was listening. Yes. Oh, yes, we had that. Teddy Bear's Picnic. But anyway, I was really impacted when an old babysitter of mine invited me over to her apartment in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and she played the first record, I think, that Joan Baez had put out.
Wow.
I completely lost my mind with that record. So Joan Baez is very, very deep, her voice and her choice of songs and material. And and the other thing I heard, I remember my mother took me to see Leontyne Price in Boston and do a recital. Now, Leontyne didn't do recitals very often. She usually was, right. But my uncle was a painter and painted a lot of Leontyne Price pictures and record covers and stuff like that. So we had a sort of a familial connection, right? Family connection. And my mother took me to see Leontyne, and I remember sitting there. I was 9 years old, and I remember sitting in the theater, tears streaming down my face while she's singing Un bel dì. I was just transported at that moment. I mean, I think there's many, many moments in my life that I've had like that. I just don't remember them all, but music has always been incredibly fundamentally important in my family as well. I mean, so I was lucky in that regard. And then the school that I went to had incredible musical mentors, as the musical directors of the school. The first teacher I had was very into African-American spirituals. So we did tons and tons of songs from the Lomax collection, I think, including ones that I don't think other people have ever heard. Anyway, I was very, very moved by those songs, and from a very early age, and they still remain some of my favorite songs. Absolutely.
So your musical background, I think, is really reflected in the material that we're going to do, because it pulls from a lot of different areas, from sort of traditional folk to the African-American spirituals to the protest movement songs, and then just kind of into the early folk rock pop stuff too. I love that it's so eclectic and kind of, I feel it's very welcoming and brings people in to feel a part of the song circle, regardless of whether they're, they had the same kind of musical background. Everybody's welcome.